rheumatoid arthritis. So it's an autoimmune condition. It causes inflammation of the joints. Specifically attacks the synovial membrane. So that's like the outside that surrounds the synovial fluid. It affects all joints and the system as well. And it's different from osteoporosis because osteoporosis is usually weight bearing. This could happen to anyone. There's no known cause, no cure for it, and like with most things, early detection is critical to prevent the progression of the joint damage, which you'll see in a little bit because it could get pretty serious.
Have a little video update. How do I go back?
Click back.
This is supposed to be a video.
Double clicking.
Technical difficulties.
Nothing happens when you right click it. And then it says, why did you open it in PowerPoint? You had it. open.
Yeah, I think it'd be easier to open it in PowerPoint.
Is that supposed to be the video? Because it was working from before. But it's just now this is in full slides.
Just advance it now. Did you find this?
Just like situational. I went through the Infinity one, I said, just for this. And everything. Like, yeah.
That was done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rheumatoid arthritis, or RA, is a chronic disease that causes pain and stiffness in your joints. So what causes RA?
RA is an autoimmune disorder, meaning it occurs when your immune system mistakes your own body cells and tissue for something that doesn't belong, such as an infection, causing your body to mistakenly attack itself in response. Other autoimmune disorders include lupus, psoriasis, multiple sclerosis, or MS. Normally, upon exposure to germs, your immune system responds by sending white blood cells in its attempt to fight infection from these viruses or bacteria. This mass of rescue white blood cells usually works just fine, but often will also cause fever and inflammation. If you're otherwise healthy, then your body has controls on its immune response process so that fever and inflammation do not get out of hand. With RA, your immune system malfunctions and mistakes your synovial membranes, which are the lining of your joints, for an outside protein that needs to be fought off. The exact causes for why your immune system may attack the lining of your joints is unknown. Most doctors believe your genetics or heredity play a role where they put you at a greater risk of developing the condition. At some point, an infection triggers the malfunction that eventually leads to the immune system attacking the joints. There's not one specific virus or bacterium that causes RA, but researchers have identified several that can start an immune response that may develop into RA. Other factors that may put you at risk for RA include age and sex. Of the 1.3 million Americans diagnosed with RA, approximately 75% are women. Men and women alike can acquire RA at any age, with onset occurring most often between the ages of 40 and 60 years. And although doctors have not yet determined the specific causes and cures for RA, what we do know about this disease and how it works has made possible the development of targeted RA treatments that work directly on the immune system to help get the disease under control, especially when it is diagnosed and treated in its early stages.
All right, so usually you could diagnose rheumatoid arthritis. You could do a physical examination, checking the joints, usually for warmth, for redness, swelling. The blood tests, just like Tyler went over, you have that elevated erythrocyte sedimentation rate, or the C-reactive protein. You could also check x-rays, because then you'll be able to see the progression of the disease in its various stages that we'll get into in a little bit. There's a big difference between the rheumatoid arthritis and the osteoarthritis. If you could look on your handout here, you can see the commonalities. They're gonna have that same symptoms originally, so you're gonna have pain, you're gonna have that stiffness, and you're gonna have that weakness. Those things, you know, they can cause depression because, you know, you're not doing the activities that you're used to doing. So those are common in both. So when the way to determine which is which, rheumatoid arthritis has symmetry, meaning if you have it on one side, you're gonna have it on the other side. So it's not just gonna be, oh, your right elbow, it's gonna be both elbows, it's gonna be both hands, it's gonna be both knees. Also, you'll see warmth, warm to the touch, and the other osteoarthritis is going to be cooler. Let's see. I think the other one is, you're gonna hear grinding with the osteoarthritis, with the bones sliding together. And there's gonna be a twisting of the joint in rheumatoid arthritis. So you're gonna see like the joint all mangled. I have some pictures that are pretty bad. Like I said before, the rheumatoid arthritis, it affects the whole body. So you're gonna develop fever, malaise, vasculitis, cysts in the joint. So it attacks everything. With the osteoarthritis, you're just gonna really have the pain in the joint, and it's not really gonna affect anything else in the body. All right, so this is a little trick that I found to kind of remember how to determine which is the rheumatoid arthritis and how it differs from osteoarthritis. You have the 7 S's. So what you're gonna do, what you're gonna feel rheumatoid arthritis is in the morning. That's gonna be the main time that you feel it. The difference is because with the osteoarthritis, it's overuse. That's how you develop it. So it's gonna be later in the day after you use that joint for several hours. That's when you're gonna feel it. You're gonna have a soft feeling in the joints. You're gonna have swelling in the joints, and it's gonna be warm to the touch. The rheumatoid arthritis is symmetrical. It's gonna be in both sides bilaterally. You have the synovial membrane. That's where it's going to attack. And it's gonna be systemic. You're gonna get fever, fatigue, anemia, a whole bunch of things. And then it's going to be in there's 4 different stages of the rheumatoid arthritis. So here we got the stages here. This is a nice healthy joint, nothing bad going on here. This is stage 1. I don't know why they put 2, but this is stage 1. This is when the white blood cells are going to start attacking the joint, thinking it's a radical. What happens there is it invades, it's called a synovitis. It's going to invade the membrane. It's going to get thickened and inflamed. And then the bones and cartilage begin to gradually erode very slowly. Stage 3 over here is the pannus formation. Here, the pannus starts growing in here, which starts to erode the bone and cartilage even more. At this point, it damages the bone. And now we go into the next stage, which is now we're in big trouble here, because now the fibrous connective tissue starts growing in between the joint. So now you're gonna have a lot of stiffness. You're not gonna really be able to move the joint too much. That's the space between the bones disappear. And then here, the last stage, the bony ankylosis, that's when the fibrous connective tissue hardens and the bones actually fuse together. So you're gonna be stiff, and it's pretty bad. So that's why it's very important to detect it at first, as soon as possible, so it doesn't get to that point. Since there's no cure, basically what we're going to be doing is preventing the joints from getting to that point. So we're going to relieve the symptoms and everything. Right. So that's that's just a little example. That's in the hands, and you can see how it's on both sides. So these are the nursing interventions, like I just said. So the main goal is, since there's no cure, we're going to control pain. We have to preserve the joints, try not to let them get to that final stage where you can't move. You have to educate the patient about the disease because there's a lot of, different ways that they can do it without medication, and deal with the disease. And then also assessing the mental status because, I don't know, if my hands got like that, I'd be pretty upset because I like to be athletic, I like to do things, and if I couldn't do those things the rest of my life, that's gonna affect, it'll cause depression and everything. And just assessing the joint for the progression of the disease. So here are some of the non-drug non-drug treatments that you can do. Resting the joint, whenever you feel that pain, rest the joint with a splint, so that's gonna kind of, make it feel a little better. You always wanna heat the joint when it's really stiff, so that'll loosen it up. The cold, like an ice pack, it will help you deal with the inflammation and the pain. Physical therapy is another option, and then physical exercise. It's not just go out and run, it has to be low impact, something that's not gonna kill the joint. And do not overdo it, because that's just gonna make it worse. Some of the medicines, you start off, it'll gradually progress. When you're in the lower stages, you're just gonna have some NSAIDs, that's gonna help with the pain and the inflammation. Then you'll go up to corticosteroids, that's gonna decrease the inflammation. And then DMARDs, that's when you're about stage 3 or 4. It's disease-modifying anti-rheumatic drugs. This suppresses the immune system to slow down the disease. And once you get to that final stage, you have the biological response mods for severe cases. Let's see, it's game time. All right. Tosses for Cheetos. So I think we could do half and half. I think that'd be easier, right? All right. Let me set up my. So we're gonna have questions here, 5 questions. The team that gets it right earns 2 tosses. You got 1 point, 2 point, 3 point. Team with the most points by the end will be victorious. Yeah, it's not a big, but it's safe. It's something. And I see everybody eating Cheetos, so I'm like, yeah, that's probably the snack of the class, Alright.
Pass those to Emma.
Wait, what do you say, guys? One team?
Yeah, I think that'd be easier. So I like Tyler's style. I think we'll do like a raise, whoever raises their hand first, whichever side.
You're not playing though, right? Because you're the instructor.
No, I'm not playing, no. I have my own,
I mean,
I have my own bag of Cheetos.
Yeah.
Alright. So, let's see, first question. Okay, during a routine health checkup, visit a patient states, I've been experiencing severe pain and stiffness in my joints lately. As the nurse, you will ask the patient what questions to assess for all possible signs and symptoms of rheumatoid arthritis. Select all that apply.
Oh.
Oh, I thought she.
A, B, C, D.
No.
No.
We got that here.
A, B, and C.
A, B, and C is correct.
2 tosses.
So that's how you know it's worse before bedtime.
son.
That's going to help you determine whether it's rheumatoid or osteoarthritis. Fatigue and fever, because it's systemic. And then is your pain and stiffness symmetrical, which is another difference between
I
the
can talk.
osteoarthritis and rheumatoid. All right, we got 2 tosses.
You want to do one? I was going to say, you want to do one? Pat's going to do the other.
Let's do like
Bring it
I
home.
think they're right here is good.
Oh man, that's far.
Wait, which one is
Good girl.
So this is 1, 2, and 3.
Let's get it.
Nice.
She want them Cheetos.
All right. So I'll call it team D.
I'm really good at
3 points.
cornhole.
Okay, so next question here.
I hate that. I'm not
True or
good.
false? Rheumatoid arthritis tends to affect women more than Tyler. True. True.
Cheater.
Tyler, slow it down.
Whoop, whoop. Hey. All right. Let's see. 2 tosses. Let's go.
Cool. Cheater.
Y'all don't want me.
Yeah, y'all don't want this.
Here we go.
Smith.
No, closer.
You can get a little closer.
No. Yes, that's where they were.
No cheating.
Oh, she was in.
Cheater.
I was behind it.
Okay, right there. Yeah, that's good.
I like it.
That's good.
Brick.
Oh, she pushed me.
Your ball was gone already.
Brick.
Team B, still.
The
up
release is
3-0.
already done by the time I put it.
Alright. Question number 3. Identify the correct sequence in how rheumatoid arthritis develops. So remember the stages. Lauren.
Did you call on me?
Yeah.
C?
And C is correct. So you have the synovitis, that's when the white blood cells start attacking.
Did it.
You get the pannus, and that's what's going to cause the ankylosis, which is the fusing of the
Okay. Let's go.
Y'all got
Come on, team. Dream team.
Monica, push them when they throw.
Ooh, look at Adnan. That's
Sit down.
Don't touch my teammate.
I'm about to go up here.
Oh, you say you're gonna put it in. You're gonna push me.
Come on, Tyler.
Go. Woo! Bring it home. Get off my team. Off the team. Get out of here.
It's 5-0, but you get those 3 pointers, easy comeback. Alright, so we're going to go to question 4. 50-year-old female is experiencing a flare-up with rheumatoid arthritis. While assisting the patient with her morning routine, the patient verbalizes a pain rating of 7 on a 1 to 10 scale in the right and left wrists, along with severe stiffness. You note the wrist joints to be red, warm, and swollen. What non-pharmacological nursing interventions can you provide to this patient to help alleviate the pain and stiffness? Select all that apply. Tyler.
Thinking yes here. BCD.
No.
What did he say? He said BCD. Okay, well then you answer.
ACD.
No.
No.
I know.
ABCD.
No. Tell you.
ABD.
No.
I got it.
But
Is
you
it
wouldn't.
B&B?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
you don't want to put
So you're
pressure
not
on
gonna,
it.
you're already
Yeah, you
at a
don't
pain scale of 7.
You don't want to add
Yeah.
more
So you don't want to
pressure to it.
exercise.
Nope, I'm not giving up on
Sit down,
Nope,
Tyler.
nope.
Sit down.
C, right there. I know my profession.
See?
I know what I do.
But you're
This
massaging
is exactly what we do. Oh, no. And I cannot sit that way. If you
Not
throw,
with-
I
Yes,
throw.
Tyler.
Not on
it. Okay,
this here. That's
Not on
the
a
key to
7.
that.
Yeah.
That's
I
the
know
key.
my profession. Yes, we do.
Would you
Because we
exercise?
go,
Okay,
when I go
that's
knee
what
to
you
knee.
did.
I'm not
Google.
I'm a toddler. I'm powerful.
Google.
If she throws, I throw.
No,
If she throws, I throw.
but try to exercise the joints.
I said BCD.
We'll give him one.
not A.
Give him one.
I know
Give
A's
him
right.
one.
BCD.
Give him one throw. We'll give him a throw.
Give him a
We'll
throw?
be nice. Give him one throw. We're going to push him anyway.
I'm just saying.
And then
It's
also
all
the
right.
other answer is D because you want to assist the patient with the wrist splints because when you're in pain you want it to rest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I respect David's thing here for being D, but I also respect my profession for BCD. I'm just
Nope.
All right, so
Okay.
you guys get the 2,
saying.
Uh-huh.
Okay, fair enough.
but
You only
you
get
got the
one.
1.
Okay, that works.
Oh.
Okay,
Switch
then
it
Tyler
up.
says.
Switch it up. Switch it up.
Emma, go. Redeem yourself. Let's go.
I don't need to redeem myself.
I need to redeem myself.
Girl,
Girl,
please. Let's go.
I do.
Let's go.
Bring it home. Okay, y'all. Don't judge me. I'm
Oh.
Gotta go for it all. 1, 2,
I'll take them.
Yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get.
Maybe your answer was wrong.
It's in there.
We got the 2-pointer.
Heather was hell.
All right, so we're down to the last question here. It's going to be worth 3 throws. So Team A can still get this. Okay? You're providing education to a patient who is recently diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis about physical exercise. Which statement made by the patient is correct?
B.
Who said that?
I did.
She didn't have her hand up.
She
She wasn't called
You
on.
answered before the hand was
All
up
right.
fully.
Well, let's Correct.
That's right.
Yes, Monica.
So
Break,
just like
break,
that,
break.
you want to rest the joints when you have the flare up.
No pressure, Monica, no pressure.
Range of motion
I'm only
exercise.
21.
Yeah, that's my
walking on a
control.
stationary bike.
How
Free
many points do
throws.
we have?
It's 7-0.
Oh,
Alright, let's go.
Oh!
If he knocks it in,
Backboard.
it counts. If he knocks it in,
Nope.
he knocks
Wait,
those two in.
One more just for shits and giggles. Here we go.
There you go.
It's not a shutout. It's not a
That's
shutout. All right.
Good job, Mike.
Let's see. So I think that is the last question here.
We got it.
We have Team B victorious, 7-1.
we get to share the D'Agostino.
Look at the excitement on Emma's face.
I'm gonna put this over here. Make sure you get some because he's not gonna share. All right. So does anyone have any
birthday.
Yeah, my birthday's Friday.
rheumatoid arthritis? Yeah, it's snowboarding.
Good job, David.
Thanks, David, for buying her birthday present for us.
No
Hey, it was buy one get one free at Publix.
You like the fuzzy crunchy.
I don't like custard, it's like my teeth.
Yeah. Quickly.
Yeah, it's a good. I wanted to.